Have you ever gotten a pendant and then realized when you got home that you don't have a bail to put on it, or you don't really have the adequate wire wrapping skills? Worry not, I'm going to show you how to do a quick and fun and lightly embellished bail that you could put on a pendant. Before we get started, you can grab all of these materials on www.silversilkonline.com. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and definitely follow me on Instagram. I'm going to show you guys how to make a bail because I was not happy with the one I made last week, as you could see. Very plain, very simple. Yes, it works. Is it really pushing the design? I don't think so. I came up with this, which is not necessarily new, but it is effective. I really love this, and I want to share with you guys how to make it, and I'm going to then assemble a necklace together. Okay, so we need some wire. I'm going to use 16 gauge softflex wire, which looks like this. You don't need much of this to work with, so I'm going to have my ruler out and show you that I am going to use 6 inches of this. And what I'm going to do is just trim it off right there. Because I am using 16 gauge, you want to make sure that your hole is about 3 or 4 millimeters, because both wires will be stuffed in it. I'm going to take a pair of chain nose pliers. These are my larger flat ones. And I'm just gonna bend this in half, just like that. And I'll just straighten out this the best that I can. And what I now have to decide is how long I want it to be. So I probably want it to end about right there and have it bend down. So I will grasp both of the wires. And I'm just gonna go ahead and fold it right down, just like that. Very easy so far already. And I'm gonna make one more bend. So now I'll just measure and kind of eyeball where that lines up. Give it one more bend. What I have to do is kind of eyeball and measure where I want to trim it, which is probably gonna be about right there. These and spread them apart. This is like the easiest bail I have ever made. And normally things would get really complicated, but I decided sometimes the easy road is okay. Now don't worry about these little nicks and little bends. The wire wrapping is actually going to help that. I am using size, what is this, 20, I think this is size 24 gauge, so it's pretty thin, easy to work with. What I'm gonna do is start down here at the V, and I'm just gonna wrap it a couple times just to give myself a nice, easy anchor. I'm gonna go ahead and string on a bead, and I just wanna wrap a few times, coil it around. So you can see I've got it started. So I'm just gonna push this wire down and out of the way. We'll address how to fix that a little bit later. Now I'm going to string some seed beads. The trick really here is to make sure you add enough coils to get you levels above the seed beads, and that way your beads fall into place and stack correctly. So here I had to wire wrap it several times, just to get it to where I have enough space to comfortably add another row of seed beads there, as you can see. And I've added 4 rows to this, so let me go ahead and stop here and demonstrate how to end this. Now, we've been coiling up this entire time, so to end this, I'm actually going to have a nice clean finish on the other end, and what I want to do is actually coil a couple times down. That way my wire doesn't end arbitrarily up above my beads. So as you can see, I just coiled the opposite direction, and I'm heading down on that other side. Just now going to end it right here. I'm just going to trim my wire off. Trim and tuck really is the key. That happens. So easy peasy, look at that. Bail in minutes. I actually went ahead and pre-strung, I'm gonna drag this down, some seed beads. And as you can see, I've got a cone on one end, and I gathered up all of my strands and crimped it to a jump ring. So I'm going to show you how to do that on this opposite side. First, what I want to go ahead and do is string my bail on, and to do that, I'm actually just going to lift this up carefully. Go ahead and string it through and simply fold it back down. This is a 2mm crimp in gunmetal, and all I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and string that on. Once I've strung them all on, I can go ahead and crimp my design using magical crimpers. And you can kind of turn it in quarter turns and continue to press down. And what's happening is it's compressing that crimp into a small, tiny little ball that crimps around the wire, really grasps onto that coating that's on the wire, and it gives a very secure hold. Now what you can do is trim off all of your wires except for one, because you need that to make your final crimp. There we go. So this looks good and secure, and now what I'll do is I'll grab my beautiful Tierra Cast hammer tone cone, and then I'm going to string on one of my Swarovski crystals that was in the kit. So now I'll just push my crimp and my wire and my jump ring all together. That looks really good. Same process here. I'll stick it inside of the notch, give it a good press, and then give it quarter turns to then turn it into a lovely little spacer. Super easy at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and take my single strand end cap, which looks like this. It is custom made. As you can see, my silver silk imprint is right on it. And to do this, you simply push the capture chain right inside of the opening of the end cap. Nylon jaw pliers. These are so great to work with, and they do not scratch my finding. And all I do is I just use them to press it together to crimp it. I went ahead and crimped the other ends of it and attached a lobster clasp from Silver Silk and More. In the end, it was very, very simple to make, and I know if I can do it. I know if I can do it, you guys can too. Well, it's been a night. I hope you guys feel inspired, empowered, and want to create something fabulous, and I can't wait to see what you do. So you guys have a great evening, and thank you so much for joining me tonight.